What's up, everybody? This is Queen J, and welcome to the first ever episode of Sports and Random Ish with none other than me. So I have divided this into a few segments, and I'm gonna change some things along the way. Just gonna see what sticks, what doesn't. There are a couple ideas I have that I'm not using in this episode, like fashion fits for the week, like my best and worst fashion fits, as well as sports betting, but that'll come different at a different time. So the gist of the whole show is basically, again, sports and random-ish. So we're gonna start with the headlines of the week. I mean, we have a lot to talk about this week, specifically with free agency frenzy, seeing what I can fit in there. So basically what I already say in my TikTok, but just a little bit more in depth. We're also going to discuss other things, like, let's see what topics I have here right now. I have the headlines of the week, again, the fashion fits, this day in history, whether that be sports or other things that I feel might be important. Major headlines in the world. Let's see what else I have here. A market update in real estate, stock market, and what I did this week, like major things that just happened. And I'm also gonna talk about my dating life or lack thereof, but just talking about what I think about the dating world and just my opinion and that, because I think that that's always an interesting conversation amongst people. And again, I'm just kind of playing around with this, see where it gets me. I feel like I have a lot of things to talk about, but I want it to be different layers because as much as I love sports, there's obviously other layers to me. So I want to make it very personable, very raw, because I believe that I'm a very personable and raw person. So hop on, bitch. So we on this ride. Wait, I don't know if I'm supposed to say that on YouTube. Hop on, beesies. We on this ride. Okay, so first we're going to start with the headlines of the week, which is obviously this week, the free agency frenzy, because holy smokes, there's a lot to unwind here. A lot. I don't even know where to start. So I guess I'll start off with Sunday's headlines, the news that shocked the world. Well, not so shocking because that was actually my prediction. Russell Wilson to the Steelers. I am very excited for that trade. I hope that he redeems himself. I mean, I saw glimpses of the old Russ in Denver last year, but obviously we expected a lot from him in Denver, especially his first year. Obviously that was a buzz, so we can't have that happen again another year. Like, this is time for him to redeem himself. I think that he's gonna do very well with the Steelers organization. Obviously they've had 17 winning seasons, so they just needed that it factor, which is Russell Wilson. And they also added Patrick Queen from the Ravens. That was also a solid pickup for them. The Steelers, however, did say Deontay Johnson to the Panthers, and then I don't see the Panthers being much better this year. Where to next? Saquon Barkley to the Eagles. Saquon is going to actually shine with the Eagles. Running backs tend to do well with the Eagles just with the way that they have their offense set up. I believe that the majority of his career was wasted with the Giants, who are going to be horrible this year. And you know what? Miss me with that talk about the loyalty. There's a Tiki Barber, which is so upset that Saquon chose himself. And then he's like, yeah, I'm going to go get my money because obviously one team doesn't want to pay me. And they've wasted my freaking career. And the other one does. It happens to be the rival. So freaking what? If you're not going to pay me, somebody else will. Guess what? I'm a professional and I do this for a living. Like, franchises don't have loyalty to you. So miss me with that. You got to look out for yourself, because guess what? Nobody's going to look out for you the way you are going to look out for yourself. Yes, it would be ideal for players to stay in the same team forever. Butterflies and rainbows. That does not exist. So I don't want to hear that. And these freaking old heads who can't grasp that, miss me with that. Like, loyalty doesn't exist. Do what you got to do for yourself. I'm happy for the dude. Hope eventually he gets a ring. He deserves a ring. So I'm glad that he did that and got his bag. Let's see what other major headlines. It's so much. I wrote all these notes and I'm like, There's just a lot going on. Okay, let me see if I can understand my writing. So, Packers, big winners here, acquiring Josh Jacobs. I love that for them. Aaron Jones, I expected to stay with the Packers, but I mean, they had them both all but 2 seconds before he got sent to the Vikings. There's a lot of divisional trades, which is really interesting in this year's free agency frenzy. But the Vikings, alongside Aaron Jones, will also be Sam Darnold. He is getting a $10 million contract for 1 year with the Vikings. As of right now, he is a QB1. However, I think that he is a temporary solution unless he proves himself. You know, he's been QB1 before, got sent as a backup to San Francisco, and now he's, you know, has a chance to redeem himself. Cowboys didn't do much of anything. Jerry said, we're all in. And they literally took them 3 days to be in the headlines for the free agency frenzy, and they picked up Eric Kendricks. He had already agreed to go with the Niners, and he was like, you know what? I don't want these state taxes. That's not what he said, but I'm saying that. I don't want these state taxes. Get me out of California. I'm going to Dallas. So they did need a linebacker, but I can't believe that that's been their only move. Like, what have y'all done? Y'all got rid of Pollard. He went to, who did Tony Pollard go to? See, so many notes here. To the Titans. Yeah. And speaking of the Titans, they have Calvin Ridley, which was a surprise because Calvin Ridley, according to what we were all reading, he was supposed to sign with the Jaguars again. They were supposed to, you know, make it work for him. And the other option was the Patriots. But out of nowhere, just like the rest of free agency, shocker, he got sent to the Titans. They also picked up Mason Rudolph, so he's going to be receiving passes from Mason Rudolph or from Will Levis. The Raiders, Jimmy G gone. I believe he's going to go start his modeling career. And let's look at the Ravens picking up Derrick Henry. So that's going to be a scary offense. Speaking of offenses, the Bengals offense is going to look very interesting this year. T. Wiggins got that franchise tag. He requested a trade. Tyler Boyd is a free agent. And Joe Mixon is now with the Texans. Oh, the Texans. Wow. The Texans just got better. And they're going... I see the Texans winning a Super Bowl within the next 5 years. Hands down. CJ Stroud, a stud. CJ Stud should be his name. DeMeco Ryans, great coach. Their defense is stellar. Their offense. And now they just added Joe Mixon. Yeah. The Browns got Jared Jeudy, and originally they were supposed to do this trade way back last year, I believe in October, if I'm not mistaken. And the Broncos were supposed to receive a higher draft pick for Jared Jeudy, but obviously they did not end their season in the way that it expected it to end. So they settled, I believe, for a 5th and 6th round pick. Jameis Winston signed with the Browns for 1 year. Who doesn't like Jameis Winston? Jameis Winston is your favorite quarterback's favorite quarterback, okay? Let's see. Colts, Joe Flacco to the Colts for 1 year. Michael Pittman Jr. signed a contract for a 3-year contract. Originally had the franchise tag, but they said, nah, we're gonna make sure that you get paid. As he should. That is my Trojan brother. Fight on. There's the Commanders. Got Austin Eckler, Bobby Wagner, and they got rid of Sam Howell today. And all I'm thinking is, what does Cliff Kingsbury have up his sleeve? Because he used to coach Caleb Williams. They have the number 2 overall pick. The Bears have been really quiet about what they're going to do with the first round, which they still have Justin Fields. And since he didn't go to any other team that needed a quarterback, at least for the time being, then it's like, what happens to Justin Fields then? Is he supposed to be the backup to Caleb Williams? So now this makes me wonder that the Commanders have something up their sleeve, because it's just a little too funny for me. They're moving very interesting. So Sam Howell got sent to the Seahawks, and I'm also thinking what's going to happen to Geno, because he's going to be QB1. Sam Howell did pretty good last year. Some losers for me are the Bills, because they lost a whole lot. And I mean, last year they didn't start off great. They ended up being in the playoffs. The only thing they got back as of right now that's notable is Mitch Trubisky. So they got a backup QB. What about everything else? Speaking of the Bills, Jordan Poyer is now with the Dolphins. And now let's talk about the reigning champions Chiefs. Chris Jones got that contract. He got a 5-year contract, $95 million. And Patrick Mahomes restructured his contract, I believe, to free up $21-ish million in cap space. Obviously, they are trying to go for that three-peat. And don't bet against the Chiefs, guys. Don't bet against the Chiefs. Yes, and how can I forget about the Falcons getting Kirk? And he also got Darnell Mooney to throw to and Rondale Moore. The Falcons are going to be good this year. I have high hopes for them. I think he's going to do better with the Falcons, but I still feel like they're going to need another quarterback eventually. The ideal situation, in my opinion, would be for Kirk Cousins to serve as like the mentor, so that when his contract is over, there's new blood coming in and they'll be set. Like, that was just such a Kirk move. I like him with the Falcons. And let's see what else here. Jacoby Brissett back with the Patriots. Tyrod Taylor with the Jets. And Matt Jones will now be a backup quarterback with the Jaguars. The Bears got DeAndre Swift. And I'm not sure. Gus Edwards to the Chargers. There's a lot going on. Like, oh my God. I used to be that only basketball used to be this way with free agency, that it was this exciting. But now the NFL is the same way. And I'm here for it. I mean, feed me that content, please. Eat. Yeah, feed me that content. I'm for sure eating not the healthiest of snacks. I mean, it's fruit with sugar. It's called balance, you know? You work out, you eat healthy the majority of the day. And then you just gotta F up a good fruit salad. Oh, sorry, I actually forgot this. OBJ released from the Ravens. Sorry, I just got another notification. I was like, what else happened in free agency? So OBJ's career, I feel like the Giants took the best of him. Of course, that's what they do. They just like to waste people's time, right, Saquon? But at least he got a chip with the Rams. Saquon still has yet to do that. And I do want to touch a little bit more still on the running back position, because I feel like it is the most F position to play. I feel like they don't want to play running backs because they know that their longevity isn't long because of the position that they play. So it's like you don't want to pay them, but then you know that without them, like you can't. It's like there's every position in football is so important, but they're trying to make it seem like the running back position isn't as important. But it's like you're a hypocrite because you don't want to pay running backs, but you know that you need them. NFL news, not necessarily free agency, but Debo will not be wearing number 1, and I like that. Debo just looks like a number 1. Like, I like that better than 19, to be honest. Oh, Aaron Rodgers will now be our new vice president. Just kidding, but apparently it's been rumored that he's talked to, I think it's John F. Kennedy Jr. Actually, let me check. Sorry, Robert Kennedy Jr. Will be his vice president, supposedly. Imagine Aaron Rodgers as our vice president. Like, that'd be pretty nuts. But in this world, we just never know what's going to happen. Some people think that he's crazy, and he's a little bit crazy, but not, I wouldn't call him crazy. I think that he just speaks his mind. He believes what he believes, and he always doubles down, which I always appreciate, because he's not one to speak and then not back it up. Like, whatever I said is what I said. I don't regret what I said. You like it, you don't like it. And in NBA news, the Kings beat the Lakers for the 4th time this season, and that's just pretty pathetic. I watched the game. The third quarter killed us. The Lakers are playing the Warriors on Saturday, and anytime that these two teams meet, it's always a freaking badass game. The last game, they went to double OT. The Lakers won. So the Lakers need to win everything as of right now. Right now, we are 9th in the West, And obviously they would play the play-in tournament against the Warriors as of now, because the Warriors are in 10th place. We want to avoid that at all costs. Because the Kings beat the Lakers, they are now in 6th place. So they would not be in the play-in tournament if the playoffs were to start today. The standings go as follows. The Nuggets took that first seed, I believe, yesterday. So it's the Nuggets, the Thunder 2, Timberwolves 3, Clippers 4. How are we going to let the unwanted brother do better than us? Come on, Lakers. Pelicans 5, Kings 6, Suns 7, Mavs 8, Lakers 9, Warriors 10th. And in the East, the Celtics have pretty much been in the first place since the beginning. And that's a big difference from the first place to second place. Is crazy. So Celtics are in first place with 51 wins, 14 losses. And the Cavs are after that with 42 wins and 24 losses. So then it's Celtics, Cavs, Bucks, Knicks, Magic, Sixers, Pacers, Heat, Bulls, Hawks. So tune in Saturday to watch the game of the Lakers and the Warriors. Excited about that, of course. Let's see here in more sports news. So the iHeart Podcast Awards just happened, and I do have to shout some of the winners because they're some of my favorites. So Best Sports Podcast went to Club Shay Shay. He won over New Heights, Around the NFL, Pardon My Take, and the Dan Libertard Show. I said that right. Obviously, I know the Swifties wanted New Heights to win. And that is, personally, I like that one over Club Shay Shay. But I don't know, they're two different styles. But Unc is such a good interviewer. And the people that he gets in there to interview, like, top notch. And he gets different types of people. So it's not just all athletes. It's not just all movie stars. It's not just all singers. It's all kinds of different people. And the questions that he gets him to ask, like my favorite interview with him so far was the one with Johnny Manziel. And I like Johnny Manziel a million times more right now after that podcast. Like, I can see why he won number one. So between him and New Heights, I'm not upset at whoever won. So this best overall ensemble went to New Heights. By ensemble, I guess I mean like a duo, between him and Travis. And then best podcast of the years went to New Heights. Dude, that I've been with New Heights. I've been rocking with them. I've been 92%er since the jump. I didn't just start. I've been watching it since the beginning, and they've just gotten better and better. I mean, obviously they're brothers, so they're gonna have that chemistry, but they're so funny together. Like, they're really entertaining. So even if you don't understand football, you never understood football before, like, this show really resonates because their personalities, like, they're just very likable dudes, and they make it so that it's easy to understand. They talk about different things, and they just make it fun. And I think it's so cool that athletes have all these, like, I mean, everyone has a podcast now, but them specifically, like, it just gives you a lot of insider info that you didn't think about before, and just kind of in the brains of these players. And that wraps it up with our sports segment. Now we will move on to this day in history. And since I'm going to be doing this on a weekly basis, I guess I will choose a day that week that we'll discuss. And this, for this week, I have two different things that I want to talk about. The first one, COVID. COVID happened 4 years ago. March 11th, 2020 was when the world shut down and we were all like, WTF. 2 weeks turned into 4 years and counting because some people still require COVID testing somewhere. So yeah, a lot has changed since then. I feel like we're living in a different world than we used to live in. I don't feel like life is the same prior to COVID. For me personally, I know my life from 2019 to now is just completely different. That was a crazy freaking time. That's one of those moments in life that we're never going to be able to fully express to like the next generation unless you experienced it. Like, it was like a freaking, it was like an episode or like a chapter in a movie or a part of a movie, whatever. It felt like the freaking day after tomorrow. Like, we were living it felt like in hell. Now when I look back, retrospect, like it was scary. Not the actual COVID itself. Like that's not to be rude or anything. I'm talking about like the things that it caused, like with the world, where it was just like, what are we living in? What do you mean nothing's open? The streets are empty, toilet paper's out. I still never freaking understood why toilet paper was like the one item to go. Like, were you just planning on TPing everyone's houses? Like, why was that the number one thing to go? If anything, my number one item would have been water. I feel like that's more reasonable than freaking toilet paper. Toilet paper? I would have, honestly, I would have brought out all the wipes before the toilet paper, because I like wipes better than toilet paper. I just never understood that concept. But yeah, I mean, you just couldn't explain that to like the next generation. Like my niece and my nephew, my niece was born in 2020, so the pandemic had already started. And I'm gonna be like, yeah, so you were born in a time where ish was just crazy, man. Like we didn't know what was gonna happen. I look back now, and obviously I got laid off from my job. I took a completely different approach in my career and my life, and I moved out actually during the pandemic. Um, and you know what was exciting during that time was because we weren't allowed to be out. It kind of seemed fun to like have like the little rooftops and things not being so crowded. That's one thing I miss, is things not being so crowded, flights being so cheap, gas being at a like all-time low. I'm like, of course, now that I'm not driving everywhere, gas is gonna be cheap. But like I remember I went to Miami for a Rams game, and this is after they started allowing fans again, but it was at a 20% capacity, and that was just really weird. It was really cool because it was like not crowded whatsoever, but also like that environment. Like I can't even imagine what the players felt like when they were playing with like cutouts, you know, as opposed to people, because it was quiet in there. But I do miss the prices that the pandemic had, and the money. There was a lot of money, and I was like, we're all gonna pay for this tenfold one day, and that tenfold is today. Those interest rates, the 1.9, 2.0, never happening again. All that money that they was printing, just throwing. We're all paying for it now, aren't we? Not so happy about that 1,200 that we got. Yeah, like I said, I don't know how I'm gonna explain it to the next generation. It was just, it felt like it was a long time, but at the same time, I felt like it was like the blink of an eye. Like, I can't believe that happened. It literally feels like it was like fake. Okay, and also 4 years ago, specifically March 17th, 2020. Tampa Bay gets sent to Tampa. And of course, they go and win the Super Bowl the year after. So that's for this date in history. Now to the next segment, major headlines in the world. First, we'll start with Boeing and how they're just falling apart. I don't know if it's just because we have more media attention, we just have more knowledge, more exposure, but like all these airplanes seem to be falling apart, and I'm like, I see now where we wear seatbelts, because the wheel might fall off, the door might fly off. What else can happen? Whatever other ish has been happening, I can see why the seatbelt is important now. And everywhere I keep looking is talking about TikTok being banned. So this has been on the works. From what I know, and I won't say that I'm like the most educated in this topic, but from what I know, the Chinese government has access to our information because of TikTok. And now the US wants to ban it if we cannot find somebody in the United States to buy it within the next 6 months. I think anytime that there's big news like this, I feel like there's always like an ulterior, something that they're trying to hide. So I'm like, what's really going on? I don't feel like it's going to get banned. I feel like they're going to figure out something. Jeff Bezos maybe will buy it. I don't know. But someone will buy it and everything's going to be okay. And we're all going to continue to use TikTok, because that's how we all get our news at the end of the day, right? Or YouTube or Instagram, just any sort of media. But yeah, the government having access to us is kind of not fun. So I don't know what's going to happen with this. But again, I don't believe everything I see, everything I hear, because I feel like they're trying to hide something else. Those are just my 2 cents. Moving on to a market update. So we'll be giving a market update both for real estate and the stock market, because I kind of feel like it sort of goes hand in hand. So crypto boomed. It hit its all-time high. So it hit 73,835. That's crazy. And then I need crypto.com to go up because it's still at 15 cents. And I bought that at like 60 something cents. So I'm still a little behind. So it would be great for crypto.com to go up. I don't know if this stock market is considered a bull run. I'm still in stock market jail because I put myself, it's not actual jail, like I put myself there because I lost so much money because I got so greedy and I was just not in a good place in my life where I needed to be trading because of other ish, but that's beside the point. The point is, this kind of looks like a bull run a little bit. It seems like everything's just been booming. That's what happened back in 2021. Everything just went before it crashed. And then I would say that it's been rebounding since the beginning of last year. I would say like if you got crypto in January of 2023, you are solid right now. It dropped as low as like 13, close to 14,000. And now it's at, well, not right now, as of right now, but as of today, close to 74,000. I don't even know what the percentage of return is on that, but that's pretty wild. Mortgage rates are up this week. Long story short, the analysts are expecting for interest rates to drop by June. However, if inflation does not go down, that may not happen. So we have to continue to keep an eye out on the market. The national rate for conventional is above 7% again. And FHA is right now at a 6.5. Obviously, these numbers change every day. We'll continue to keep a close lookout for what's going to happen in the next coming months. It is election year, so keep in mind that every time it's election year, there's always something big that happens. So just keep a lookout for that. The next segment, what did I do this week? Major things that happened. So this may not seem major to y'all, but it is major to me. I finally finished cleaning up my garage. I do need a few boxes to still put my Christmas stuff away, but I must tell y'all that I am like the worst. I have so much crap, and my garage isn't even my garage. It's a freaking storage room. Not a storage, it's a closet. It's like my walk-in closet because I have my closet, I have my office closet, I have my coat closet, and then I have my garage, which is like QJ Maxx. Literally, it's disgusting how much crap I have. So I had my son build out this rack for me so that I could hang up my dresses, and I still have to hang up a little bit more, but that is something that I did. I also went and got a touch up for my Botox and my fillers, you know. Gotta pay that price to keep looking beautiful and young for the rest of my life. Honestly, I don't care what price I have to pay. Like, old age is one of my biggest fears in life. And I refuse to get old. So, I mean, I'm going to get old, but I'm going to pay whatever I have to in order to maintain my beauty. Which reminds me, I forgot to add a segment in here. It's like a fun fact. I guess my fun fact this week is that I'm afraid of old age. That is one of my biggest fears in life. My first one would be death, and death of anybody that I love, death of myself, because I'm like, I don't want to die yet because I have a long life to live still, and I still have to accomplish so much. My second fear would be old age. My third fear is rats, rodents. I swear if I see a rodent, I will probably pass out. So, fun fact. And anyway, going back to what I did this week. So, I guess that goes hand in hand because I just started doing this again this week as opposed to last. I'm going to speak a little bit about last week too. Something else I did. I was at my best friend's wedding. Well, I was the maid of honor. Hello. And that was really special to me. I've never been a part of my friend's wedding before, mainly because most of them are not married, but I've always wanted to be a part of a wedding before, and I was chosen as a maid of honor. So we got it going with a bang, and that was really special. I went to Florida. It was beautiful. Unfortunately, my friend was sick, the week of, so she was struggling, like really sick. Like I felt bad. Like I had a good time out there, but I'm sad that she couldn't enjoy her time out when she was out there. Well, she lives out there, but I'm sad she couldn't enjoy her week. And it was also my birthday. I'm a year older. It doesn't matter the age, right? But March 4th, baby. This was actually my birthday present from my best friend. Final thing, I'm currently not drinking. I'm not drinking until Easter, so don't offer me any drinks because all I'm gonna have is water on the rocks. On to the final topic. It's not necessarily Queen J's dating life. It's just what I think about relationships, because this is, again, a conversation that's always interesting. Just hearing perspectives. Like I may even ask people about what they've been going through. Again, this is my first time, but I brought this up because actually something interesting happened this week. Right now, so it's Queen J's dating life. Right now, my patience with men is very limited because I'm like, you know what? I am a busy woman and I do not have time to be wasting on people who are not going to bring any value to my life. I've been there, done that, done plenty of that. And right now, I'm just focused in my bag, in my hustle. But that does not mean that I am turning away love. That's not what that means whatsoever. Like, it would be nice if someone actually was worthy of my love, because I have a lot of love to give. My love, I have, what is it? Oh my, no. Okay, whatever. All my love I have to give. I feel like I've heard that in a song. Whatever. Oh, that reminds me, that's another topic I was going to talk about. So, entertainment, just music. I'm writing as I'm going because then I'll forget. Entertainment, music topics, or just what else is released, that's what's been released recently. Obviously, I don't have anything for this week, but this is why I jot things down, because otherwise I'll forget. So again, patience is very low. There's this person that I used to, I don't even know if I would consider dating him. We went out a few times, and like every time we got together, it was always like the conversation was cool, like the connection was there, chemistry was cool. So we was kind of caught up, but he just sucked at dating. Like essentially that's what happened. Like I'm just like, you don't date the way I need a man to date me, because I require a certain amount of attention. I require certain efforts. Like a lot of the things are very common sense to me. However, I don't know what's wrong with a lot of people. And everyone has their own idea of what their relationship should look like. But I feel like I just attract men who I'm just like, the audacity is beyond me. So anyway, this is, and if you're listening, I mean, I hope you never, actually, if you listen to this, I don't care. I know how I feel. This is my guy best friend's best friend. So whatever, like I said, we tried to hang out a few times and it just ended up not working out because the effort was just not there. But you know, I have nothing against, like, one thing that I learned from my last relationship is like it was my fault that I got into that and gave it as much effort as I did when I wasn't getting anything in return. Because just like any Delulu girl living in her Disneyland world, I thought that if I put into this person and fed this person all this love and all this attention and all this effort, it would be reciprocated, and then we were gonna live happily ever after. But of course, that's just a Delulu land that we live in, and it doesn't exist. And women specifically, we do that, and we gotta stop freaking doing that, because no, they're not gonna change. If you don't have to tell a man to be a man, like let them show you who they are, and then you can decide if you want to continue to entertain that or not. So anyway, with this guy, he kind of showed me who he was. I gave it the first warning. I was like, okay, pissed me off. Months later, hits me up, apologize for that first thing, but I should have left it there, but whatever. I'm very big on, like, if you're asking me out on a date, I don't go out on very many dates. You better pick me up. At the very least, I'm generous enough to allow you to Uber me if you're far away, okay? I know I live far from a lot of things, so you don't go backwards and the other way, then you can Uber me. So we have plans, whatever. He, I guess, ends up getting out late from work, and he's like, hey, you just want to meet me here? And I was like, no, that wasn't the plan. Like, you can Uber me, you know, because we had already agreed on that. And then he's like, no, if you don't want to drive over here, then basically I'm cool off you. And I was like, okay. I just left it like that. So for months we didn't talk. Then one day he reached out, he apologized and whatever. I guess, see, this is, now I'm just into like, one chance is all you get. Like, actually not one, you get 0 chances now. Like after I learned from that. So whatever, he hits me up a few months later. We ended up hanging out. You know, kind of, we hung out a few times. So he kind of, I guess, redeemed himself a little bit. But then as we started talking, I was just like, the effort is just not there. It's just not giving what I needed to give. And I'm getting nothing out of this. So I'm moving on. We're cool. I know that I'm almost positive he was, you know, dating other people. Which, again, I don't care. Like, we're not talking at this point. So I don't see this dude for literally months. I haven't talked to him. Not even a hello, nothing. And then I see him because I'm out with my best friend. And he happens to be there too. I see him. And I'm just like a generic like, hey, you know, what's up? Like, how you been? Again, I have nothing against these people just because I don't get to that point where I'm going to hate you. I don't need that energy in my life again. So we just, you know, beg to differ. We see things differently and it is what it is. I see him there. He is all of a sudden all over me. He's like, oh my God, why haven't we hung out? What's going on? And I'm like, have you hit me up at all to hang out? I'm like, aren't you dating people? He's like, no, why would you say that? Like, who am I dating? I haven't dated nobody. And I'm like, okay. Well, I mean, I just assume that you are. You're, you know, you're a man. You're not talking to me. You're talking to somebody. But whatever, denied it. I'm like, okay. Like, I don't care. But then he's like, how come we haven't hung out? Like, what's going on? Like, we haven't even reached out, bro. He's like, well, what do I have to do to hang out with you? Like, you know, like, what do I need to do different? Because I told him, I said, look, I was like, you and I, we just don't date the same. What you expect is not what I expect. The effort that you're willing to give is not what I am looking for. And like, but I was like, that's not why I'm here. I'm just here to hang out with my friends. I'm like, I'm not about to have this conversation. Asked me, what do I need to do to have, you know, make things different, to start hanging out? And I'm like I said, did not have that conversation. So offers me a drink. Again, I'm not drinking. I got a virgin lemon drop. I take a virgin lemon drop. I'm also hungry. And I'm like, you know what? I really want some food. So it would have been one thing if I just would have been there with like friends and he wouldn't have been trying to be all over me and asking what he needs to do in order for us to like hang out again or whatever. But you're all over me. First of all, you're killing my game. How do you know that somebody else around here wasn't going to come offer me a drink or whatever? You know, you're kind of killing my game. So you're all over me. And then when it comes down to like, hey, well, you know, was I seeing you? I gotta go. Say, okay, you better pay for that sandwich that you got. I'm sorry, what? I was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, I am. But again, it's one of those things where he's all over me, you know, wanting to hang out again. But you can't even pay for my sandwich. I was like, yeah, baby, this ain't gonna work. Don't hit me up again. You're asking why we don't hang out. Bro, you couldn't even buy me a fucking sandwich. Anyway, that's how I feel about dating right now. I guess y'all would need to know more of the insights of the situation to understand it. But yeah, that's what happened. That's my dating story for the week. And that wraps it up for today's episode. I want to know what y'all think, what you guys would suggest. Obviously, right now I'm editing my own video, so it's not going to be edited to like a podcast level. We're not there yet. But what other topics should I talk about? I know it's more interesting when people, more than one person is just talking. And I would like to have like a co-host. I just don't know where I would find somebody to talk about the things that I'm talking about right now. Maybe I'll just put it out there. But again, it's my first time playing around with it, so don't be too harsh on me. I've been toying with the idea for a while. And I'm just like, you know what? I have to start someday. So that day is today. And if you guys have any other topic suggestions, please feel free to drop them. And thank you for tuning in if you tuned in. And I look forward to doing this again.